Alrighty, so you are on the bottom of page 557 in your book, and we're going to look about a quarter of the way down where it says angles of a triangle. And so this is what's called your triangle sum theorem. So I'm just going to write that underneath that box. Triangle sum theorem. And so what that means is that all three angles, the sum of the measures of the angles, all three of a triangle is 180 degrees. So in this picture, it shows angle X, angle Y, and angle Z. All three of those added together equal 180. And so we're going to practice this a little bit on some different examples. So we're going to start looking at the got it here at letter C at the bottom of the page. So in some of the videos that I had shown you at the beginning of this week and the end of last week with triangles, it did talk about the triangle sum theorem. It did, in the Math Antics video for sure, talk about how all three angles inside that triangle have to equal 180. Well, triangles are labeled different ways. And so if you look at letter C, it's going to tell you in triangle ABC. And so I'm going to draw a picture of that in a minute, what that looks like. And it's going to tell you in each of those angles, well, at least two of the angles, what the degree measure is. So it says if the measure of angle A is 25 degrees, and the M, the measure of angle B, is 108 degrees, what is the measure of angle C? That's the one that you're missing. So if I were to draw this, I'm going to draw it, with this large obtuse angle here, knowing that that's in my triangle. So I'm going to come over here, and at least you have a visual of what it looks like, okay? So here's my obtuse angle. Let's say this is 108, and it's I probably drew it a little bigger than I should have, but that's okay. 108 degrees, okay? See if I can get that third side drawn in. And so that 108 degree angle is angle B, right here, according to, again, the problem. Now, angle A is 25 degrees, so I'm going to come up here and call this angle A, and since that's a really small angle, I'm going to put it over here and just point to it. 25 degrees, angle A. So you have angle A, angle B. You don't know angle C, so I'm going to call that, again, it's a small angle, I'm going to call that X. That's the one that you don't know that you're trying to find. So, again, sometimes it just helps with a visual if you see that. Now, we know two of the angle measures, right? So that means I can add together, maybe I'll do it up here, 108 plus 25, and with these problems, you can use a calculator. I'm totally fine with that. I know there's been a lot of situations with math this year where we've said, nope, you can't use it. You can on these, by all means. So if you have it, take it out, or just scratch it out like I am right now. So add these two together. All right. So that means I have 133 degrees so far in that triangle. Remember, we need 180, right? So if this is what I have so far, to find that missing angle, I'm going to subtract away what I have so far. So I'm going to subtract away the 133 and work that out. So now I have 47 degrees left. There's my angle C. So angle C is 47 degrees. It's a smaller acute angle. All right, so let's take a look at some more. So we're going to go to the next page. We're going to take a look at the guided practice on 558. 558, number 2. And very similar, it's going to give you a different triangle, and it's also going to label it differently. So it's going to say, find the measure of angle T in a triangle RST if the measure of angle R is 37 degrees and the measure of angle S is 55 degrees. Okay, so you don't always have to draw a picture like I just did on the previous one. It's up to you. So if you don't, right, understand that you have 37 degrees and you have 55 degrees so far in that triangle. So add together to see how much total degrees you have without knowing the third angle yet. Okay, so 7 plus 5, 12, 92. So you have 92 degrees so far in that triangle. Then that means that that third angle that I'm missing, angle T, has to be something that's less than 90 degrees. Because remember, we're trying to get to 180. So next step, subtract it away, right? Take the 92 degrees you have and subtract it away from 180. And you're going to have 88 degrees. So your missing angle measure, your angle T that you were missing, was 88 degrees. Now, if you wanted to, you could draw a picture, right? So maybe it looks like this. Now, all three of these, I'm sorry, two of these are, no, all three, sorry, looking at the wrong thing. All three are angles that are less than 90. So you could draw an acute triangle and label it R, S, T, and you could put in those degree measurements, okay? And again, don't worry about if you draw the triangle, if that's the route you go, that it's perfect to scale, because again, you're not using rulers, you're not using protractors this year. You're really just trying to understand by freehand drawing of these triangles and angles what they look like, and then just be able to classify it, okay? And then you could plug those angle measures in there. Take a look at number 3, right below it. So it says a triangle is used in the game of pool to rack the pool balls. And so find the missing measure of the triangle. This triangle is one that I've talked about when we were talking just about classifying classifying triangles by its sides and angles. And if you look, right, you've got two angles that are 60 degrees. Well, that's 120 degrees already. Well, wouldn't this also be 60 degrees, because that gives you 180? So this type of triangle right here, and I'm going to draw these tick marks right like that. That's an equilateral triangle. So equilateral triangles have those sides that are the same, congruent sides, and all three angles are congruent. So your missing angle measure was 60. Okay, at the same time, this is an equilateral. And I'm going to put acute, because all the angles, right, are acute, triangle. That's a unique triangle in geometry. All three sides congruent, all three angles congruent. All right, so number 4, below that, it says, how can triangles be classified? So just thinking about what we've talked about, right? We've talked about how they can be classified by their angles and sides. So, right, their angles, acute, obtuse, right. Their sides, equilateral, isosceles, and scalene. All right, let's keep going with triangle sum theorem. So we're going to go again to independent practice here and look at numbers 6, 7, and 8. 6, 7, and 8 here. So number 6, I have a 30-degree angle that I see. I see a right angle here, and I see an angle X that I need to find. So sometimes this type of triangle will throw students off because they're like, well, what? I only see one angle measure here. I don't understand. How am I supposed to figure out what X is? So you see this little 90-degree box here, right? Just because it doesn't tell you it's 90, you know it's 90. So you're taking that measurement and you're adding the 30 to it, right? So you're doing 90 plus 30, right? And adding those two together and getting 120 degrees. And so then what's left for angle X that you're missing up here? Well, if you have to, subtract it, or if you can mental math it, right? That means you have 60 degrees left. So X, that top corner angle, is 60 degrees. That's an acute angle, which is less than 90 that you're missing, which means your answer should also be acute and less than 90, right? 60 degrees. That makes sense. Number 7, you have two measures here. You have a 33-degree angle and a 29-degree angle. So add those two together. Again, it's okay to use calculators, or you can freehand it if you'd like. If you add those two together, you're going to get 62 degrees. And so now find what's left. Now look, that X angle up there that's missing is obtuse. That means when you subtract from 180, your answer needs to be something that is larger than 90 degrees. So when you subtract those two amounts, and if you're doing it by freehand on your paper, just be careful, right? 118 degrees. Again, that makes sense because that's an obtuse angle. So your angle measure needs to be over 90, and it is 118. I subtracted it correctly. I did the math right. Number 8, you have 21-degree angle here and a 132-degree angle. Add those two together. We need to find X, the other third angle up there. So adding 21 and 132 should give you 153 degrees. And last step, subtract that from 180. Okay, X equals, that's a small angle that's missing there, which means it's acute. You have to have a small angle less than 90 degrees. You should have 27 degrees for that third angle that's missing. Okay, all three angles always add to 180. So you're going to try a few. You're going to go to the extra practice. And so on page 561, you try 20, 21, 22. When you're all set with finding that third angle that's missing, you'll unpause the video and check answers. So pause right now, do those three, I'll meet you back with the answers. All right, taking a look at 20, 21, and 22. Number 20. You should have X equals 65 degrees. You're missing that top angle measure. That's acute. So adding the two measures you have together and subtracting from 180, 65 degrees. Number 21, you have also, again, two angles, 34 and 56 that you're adding together, and that gives you 90 degrees, which means then your missing angle at the top is a 90-degree angle. X equals 90 degrees. 22. Don't forget, when you have the box in the corner of that triangle, you know it's 90, right? That's the measure you use. So you take 90 plus 53, you get 143 degrees. So when you subtract from 180 and find that small acute angle in the bottom left, you should have 37 degrees there. All right, so now what we're going to do, let me go back to the agenda, is you are going to work on this triangle review worksheet. So your crew teachers have copies for you. Virtual copy is right here for you to click on. And then there will be an answer key also to check your answers afterwards. So when you're working on your triangle review worksheet, it's going to be about finding missing angle measures. So finding what we just did in the book lesson, right? Finding that third angle, so you have a triangle sum of 180 degrees. You're also going to be reviewing classifying angles and triangles. Angles and sides and triangles. So given a triangle, can you classify it by its angles that are in the triangle and also by its sides? So you may work, and it's up to your crew teacher if you are in your crews, if you would like to work with a partner or within your pod, whatever your crew teachers are okay with, or individually. And then again, like I said, afterwards, you'll be able to come back here and check the answer key on how you've done. So I thought definitely it was worth doing some work on a worksheet. We haven't done that really all year. I haven't given you much except for maybe a vocab worksheet or like a foldable. We really haven't done math on a worksheet. So giving you a break from virtually online doing it to paper and pencil. Okay. So if you finish and you've checked your answers and you're good to go, please head into BuzzMath if you still haven't done those three. Or also, if you did not complete your ALEX on Wednesdays like you should, make sure you head there as well. So have a great day. If you do have questions, please let us know, and we will see you back here on Friday.